Bruh! 1.5 million subscribers? What? That's a crazy number. What? If you're fairly new around here, I would do a milestone special every 100K subs I would get until I hit 1 million, and then I didn't do any till I hit 1.5. Honestly, I feel like I just made the 1,000,000 sub special video. Your support has been nothing short of unbelievable, especially being that I have successfully gotten into numerous controversies, and you are still by my side. I very much appreciate all of that. I managed to hit 1.5 million subs and learned absolutely 0 life lessons along the way. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I am, in fact, a much better person now. I have embraced so many things that have honed me to become a level 6 sentient being as opposed to you mere level 5ers out there. But on my milestone videos, I like to make it a little more personal as opposed to analytical or just laughing at different toxic enclaves of the internet. Talk about some things I like. So that's kind of what we'll be doing today. Today I wanted to talk about my 15 favorite animated things ever. I am a massive fan of animation in general, and being that we hit 1.5 million subs, I guess 15 is a good number. And I'm going to be talking about 16 because I'm closer to 1.6 million subs at this point because I'm late with the specials. I'm sorry, I've been busy with shiz. Thank you so much again for the support on my other projects like my music video and my crazy collabs and all that. My second channel is really popping off, Nuxanor. The memes that are sprouting from there are fire. Oh my god. Link to that, of course, in the description, and I very much appreciate your support everywhere. Here, Twitch, Twitter. Damn, you guys are something else, and I'm glad I could take this moment to thank you all without actually getting into a controversy by thanking you. This is a wholesome video. No controversies are going to happen, guaranteed. There's no way controversy will spread from this one like it does from literally everything else I touch. I don't know how. But anywho, I've split up these 16 different animated things into 4 categories. Well, this is kind of the more mainstream media version. Like, the 4 categories are the anime category, the animated movie category, the animated TV show category, and the nostalgia category. So I have 4 entries in each of these 4 categories to just talk about a lot of things that I genuinely love, and if you have not experienced them, you can go do so, and if you haven't experienced them, you can share this lovely, wholesome occasion with me as I talk about why I love all these things so much. Now, I want to talk about different, more indie animations, whether it's YouTube fan animations, YouTube animators, VTubers, any other topic, but I don't want to cram that into this video because I feel like that's already broadening the scope a little too much. So subscribe if you're interested in that. You never know. Maybe 2 million subscriber special will be something like that, aside from my current 2 million subscriber milestone, which I've already promised you, and that is summoning Satan. We will summon Satan at 2 million subscribers. The hype is real. God damn it, subscribe if you're not already. Only like half of you are actually subscribed according to the YouTube analytics. The other half of you, what are you waiting for? Do it. Hit notification bell. And honestly, I wanted the sponsor of this video to be something that is something special and something that I've genuinely been loving. So I am so happy that Genshin Impact was willing to work with me on this lovely occasion. And now, before continuing this video, I have a little problem. I was told to make a 1 to 2 minute long sponsored segment for Genshin Impact. And the issue is, I can legit talk about this game for hours. They sent me the pre-release. I've played this thing, and it is actually amazing. Weeb games generally scare the hell out of me, but this is the first one I've played that you genuinely feel like it's your adventure that you are building from the ground up. The basic storyline is taking place in a fantastic fantasy setting. And honestly, I don't even want to spoil the first bit. The story itself is so fire. Every character has unique abilities and unique personalities, and I went into this thinking it was a generic MMORPG. It's not. It is an open world. It's literally your adventure to craft from the very beginning. The characters that you meet feel like real people that are voiced in English or in Japanese, whatever you prefer. The game is gorgeous, and you can tackle every bit of this open world. You can explore by walking, climbing, swimming, and gliding. In the current version, there are 24 playable characters available, and more characters will come to updated versions. But it's also multiplayer, so you could literally go on this adventure with friends. I am so enthralled by the world building, and for me that is such a massive draw. I would talk about it forever, but the actual combat system with 7 different element types and combos and the different boss fights, monster spawns, quests to find items and increase your level, and weaponry. Dude, it's all straight fire. And best of all, after reaching adventure level 20, players can receive a 4-star character, Barbara, which is just like, bruh, extra waifus. God damn. This video was kindly sponsored by Genshin Impact, and honestly, because it's a genuinely good time where you can literally craft your own adventure. Every anime that you like, that you wish you could be a part of, this is your chance. Check out the link in the description where you get a ton of rewards if you sign up right now. Thank you so much, Genshin Impact, for sponsoring this video, and on with the video. All right, so starting strong. I'm gonna go with my 4th place entry from each of the 4 categories, work ourselves up, and the hype is real. In 4th place, in the anime department, One Punch Man. How I love this story. So, to clarify, when I say anime, I don't mean manga. Like, Berserk and One Piece are both absolutely fantastic, but I wouldn't say the anime adaptations of either of them surpasses One Punch Man for me. One Punch Man is a story that hits me very hard because not only did I spend a lot of time researching it and looking at the different metaphors behind the stupidly seeming scenes, like, I legit made an entire video on the metaphor of the mosquito scene in One Punch Man, okay? And I wasn't even memeing. One Punch Man is so powerful on a character level, on a comedy level, but even more than any of that, on a philosophical level. One of the things that I love so much about animation and anime in particular is that it can instill really powerful, fundamental, and deep ideas into something that seems so esoteric and just straight up hilarious. One Punch Man is the story of a man who can defeat any foe in one punch, and so much of the comedy aspect is not just as a satire on other stories of people that can't fight foes. Like, everyone has their crazy arduous journey to finally be able to defeat the main villain, but this man can straight up annihilate anyone without even trying. It's a commentary and a parody on so many different things. It makes it such a fun watching experience, but when you actually look even slightly beneath the surface level, you have a man suffering from depression. A man that can never feel a high again. He can never get into a fight. He can never have an adrenaline. He is just too powerful. He is someone that accomplished the dream. So many stories talk about chasing your dreams, but so many of them never get to the point of staleness when you've accomplished it and you have nowhere to go. The feeling of never be able to improve and never being able to grow is a frightening, terrifying feeling, and it is a primary cause of depression. One Punch Man, the lighthearted comedy, the hilarious story, the unforgettable characters, the fantastic moments, and one of the best mental health stories of all time. Anyway, on a light-hearted note, on to my 4th favorite Western animated TV show, and I will be going a little bit faster because I don't want this video to be insanely long. I just want to gush about the things I like because you guys were asking me to do this kind of thing a lot for my 1.5 million subscriber special, and I always think of the fans. God damn it, I'm alive because of you. This is so sad. But number 4 is Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is an amazing story that I've watched more than once, with some fantastic episodes, having that childish charm, but also having some actually great life lessons and characters. But the real reason this has become my 4th favorite animated TV show of all time is simply because of the primary antagonist, Bill Cipher. Bill Cipher is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. Now, I'm not gonna say that I relate to him on a spiritual level or anything, baka, but I actually do. The twisted mind of this cursed Dorito chip is actually a psychology that could be so well understood and related to by the greater audience. Not to mention the fact that the lore about him is so fascinating and how it branches out past the Gravity Falls story itself. Bill Cipher is honestly one of my favorite antagonists in all of fiction and one of my favorite characters. I think it's very hard to write a character that's nigh omnipotent like he is, but still make them goddamn beautiful. And Gravity Falls pulled that off. And that's aside from the great rest of the cast. Like, even Mabel, who gets a lot of crap from the fan base. Mabel is a kid, and she's a fantastic character, too. God damn it, every episode's hilarious. I love Gravity Falls. My 4th favorite animated movie of all time is Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's a pretty recent one, actually. The Spider-Verse, not gonna lie, is easily in my top 3 superhero movies of all time. My top 3 probably being Batman: The Dark Knight, Deadpool, and Spider-Verse. There are a billion iterations of Spider-Man, and honestly, none of them come close to Spider-Verse on a character level and on even a plot level. There were moments in the story where I was genuinely rooting for the characters, where I was able to understand the antagonists, where the protagonist is more relatable than almost any other superhero I have ever laid eyes on. The music, the animation, this story is brimming with love and passion and creativity, and I am so happy it could exist. Honestly, Into the Spider-Verse is a masterpiece and will be remembered for a long, long time. Now on to my fourth favorite Nostalgia Blast animation, and that would be Yu-Gi-Oh! So my love for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is obviously increased tenfold by the fact that I was addicted to the card game when I was younger, to the point that I managed to get my whole high school into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But that said, the anime was fire. I loved the OG Yu-Gi-Oh! The insane hype to a children's card game with the entire universe at stake. But even with that said, you had characters like Kaiba and Bakura, who are both such well-written, thought-out characters that you don't find anywhere else. Honestly, this was gonna kind of be a toss-up for me. I was thinking Dragon Ball for a split second, and it easily got yeeted out of this list by the legendary tale of Yu-Gi-Oh! God damn it, Kaiba, this egotistical prick, such an asshole, he literally built a time machine and a space station to travel back in time by 3,000 years to go duel an ancient Egyptian pharaoh in a children's card game for the sake of his ego. It's that level of pettiness, but also the complete understanding of where this man is coming from. He had everything in his life handed to him on a silver platter due to the sheer massiveness of his brain, and he just could not understand that he's losing to someone who's not stronger than him, not richer than him, not smarter than him, but someone who's winning because of this mystical heart of the cards crap. This man went on the full spiritual journey from a man of absolute materialism to a man who blended that with faith. And it's such a fascinating path he walked despite being an amazing character. And speaking of nostalgia, I have nothing but good memories about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Okay, that was the lie. I watched the English dub. I have many good memories from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And even in GX, you had a character like Chaz. Bruh, praise the Chaz. Chaz it up, boys. Chaz Princeton from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is literally the embodiment of what I have become. I don't know, with the fan base being like the Ojamas. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. Aside from actually genuinely great character development on his part, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, the first arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, coupled with me playing the card game, easily number 4 in the Nostalgia Blast category of my favorite animated things ever. Moving on to third place. My third favorite anime of all time is in fact Fate Zero. Bro, Fate Zero is a masterpiece of an adaptation. Aside from the amazing animation, one of my favorite musical scores in all of anime. Amazing fights. The ultimate battle royale setting to get your panties wet. Dude, I am a sucker for psychopaths. I don't know what it is. If you have a sociopath, a psychopath, or someone with other really wacky, zany psychological issues in a show, I will be gravitated towards them. I don't know what it is about these characters, but somehow, I don't know, it just happens. I don't get it. If they have a really weird, messed up, screwed up ideology based on psychological baggage, bruh, I am all there. And when it comes to Fate Zero, every single party has their own crazy ideology that makes so much sense in their own mindset based on their own personal experiences. And there's this crazy life lesson just dropped down like a nuke on the world that, bro, every ideology is wrong if taken to an extreme. Whether it's extreme utilitarianism, like you see in Kiritsugu, extreme nobility, like you see in Saber, and that's just 2 of the 14 characters with different ideologies. Bruh, philosophy is played with and rolled around in the mud, revealing all of its gaping, multifaceted assholes for the world to see and take a whiff of. Fate Zero is Greek tragedy, the anime, but also has amazing music and nuts to butts action with fantastic characters and literally everything else you could want. It's an eyegasm and an eargasm of an experience. I love Fate Zero. On to my third favorite favorite animated TV series of all time from the West, and that would be BoJack Horseman. So going into BoJack Horseman, I did not expect myself to like it. I started this story expecting a comedy, and I was hit with the biggest emotional roller coaster I've ever been on in my life. There is no series that got me in a lower point than BoJack Horseman in literally every single season finale. Bruh, this is the most human story I have ever seen unfold before me in my entire life. The ups and downs of these anthropomorphized animal bastards, showing not only the dark underbelly of society and of human nature, but showing you how it could get much, much darker, and the phrase, "it can't get worse," is such a weak mindset. If you ever have the phrase, "it can't get worse," then you've lost twice. There are so many things about BoJack Horseman that just left me with this insane, hollow feeling of just, bruh. It is the ultimate bruh moment TV show. And honestly, I can't praise it enough for what it does right. Everyone has different preferences, obviously, and I would not say this melancholy, emotional character piece is per se my genre. But even that said and done, I watched one of the best TV shows ever made. Anyway, moving on to my third favorite animated movie, and that is, drumroll please, Your Name, or Kimi no Na wa. This anime is so good. Fam, I know that people are gonna get upset at me that I didn't include like a whole bunch of other anime, and I know I need to go back and watch all the old Ghibli movies that I haven't seen in a long, long time, like Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Castle of Cagliostro, like all of that shiz. I need to watch Grave of the Fireflies, and so many more that either I didn't see or I saw so long ago and barely remember. But that all said and done, I do remember how I felt after watching them, and none of them destroyed me like Your Name. I know that a lot of people kind of think Your Name went so mainstream, it's almost cringe to love it as much as I do, but every time I hear that Your Name music, I am just broken inside. This truly is a masterpiece. It is the ultimate romance anime. It is a story that anyone could watch and anyone can experience, and it's something that, honestly, even though I know the twists and turns of the movie at this point, every single time I watch it, it still feels just as real. And just talking about it in my mind, it's already going, "Come on, and I'm just like dying inside. It's so sad. I have to move on. I have to move on. I'm sorry. To the nostalgia pick in the rank 3 spot, and that would be that's right, fam. It is Pokemon. Pokemon has a special place in my heart, like it does in the heart of anyone in my generation. And if you didn't grow up with Pokemon, honestly, you're sad. And you might want to consider injecting bleach into your veins or something. Like, honestly, that's probably the best alternative at this point. Going back and watching Pokemon is never going to give you the experience that you had as a kid. I'm sorry. Life sucks sometimes, and you were just on the wrong side of fate. Big sad. Born into a rich family? Pfft, you don't need that if you have Pokemon. Okay, fine. I'm going too far. Maybe I'm giving it too much praise. No, I'm not. That's exactly what I said, and I will stand by it. Growing up with Pokemon gave me a freaking lifetime of nostalgia punches wherever I go, because everyone grew up with Pokemon. It was something that was so relatable to so many different people, no matter where they were or where they came from. Pokemon was almost a constant in everyone's lives that you could go back to. I loved the anime. I loved the Game Boy games. You know, the good old days. I don't know, Fire Red and the Nintendo Advance piece of trash. But just the idea of talking to people about Pokemon, battling your friends, imagining what life would be like if I was in the world of Pokemon. I personally would probably try to, you know, do some world domination kind of vibes going on. If a 10-year-old can become the strongest trainer, then I, who would not abide by the 6 Pokemon in my party rule thingo, would definitely be able to take over the planet. But anyway, that's a discussion for a future day. The Pokemon world is expansive, the lore is vast, the theories were amazing, the communities were fantastic, and all in all, Pokemon became more of a lifestyle than just a franchise, and I completely fell in love with it. It will always have a really warm place in my heart. But anyway, moving on to number 2 in the anime department, my second favorite anime of all time, hands down, it's Code Geass. So when I got into anime, obviously I watched, like, you know, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. I eventually started watching like the shonen, you know, Naruto, Bleach, etc. But when I wanted wanted to watch a new anime after finishing Bleach, or rather catching up to Bleach when it was airing, I was looking for another long-running show, and I accidentally happened upon Code Geass. That was the first show that I watched after the shonen vibes, and it was short. It was only 2 seasons of 25 episodes apiece. That's not gonna hold my attention, goddammit. But alas, to this day, it's my second favorite anime of all time. It hooked me on the idea of anime. It became the ultimate conduit into an infinite and vast amount of content that I never understood existed. The idea of short animation and anime that are actually mature. Obviously, themes in shows like Naruto becoming the greatest Hokage was made for a younger audience, despite the fact that some of the other themes in Naruto were extremely hard-hitting and harder-hitting than anything you'd find on Western TV. You're never gonna have a Lee versus Gaara anywhere else if it's not in the realm of anime. And I knew that, but the idea of Code Geass upping the ante of what animation can do for me was fantastic. But not even talking about it from a nostalgia standpoint, I am still blown away every time I rewatch Code Geass. Code Geass is easily my most rewatched anime ever. I've watched it myself countless times, as well as several times with friends that I wanted to show it off to. And not just an episode here and there, the whole goddamn thing. I know people have different complaints about different aspects of it, but it is phenomenal. It's a 10 out of 10 experience. Great characters, great strategic battles, great plot, twists and turns around every corner, and my personal favorite aspect of Code Geass, the ending. It has the greatest ending in fiction. A lot of people complain about fictional endings. Almost every story has a mediocre ending compared to what people were hoping for. So few actually punch you in the gut, and you're like, damn, now that's an ending. So few. And even stories that are pretty much well regarded all around, they don't have fantastically good endings. They have mediocre endings by the standing of what this series was. Like, if you look at very critically acclaimed works like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, both had decent endings, but none had an ending that actually elevated the story to a completely new level. So few stories actually have something like that, and Code Geass is the absolute pinnacle of that. Now, I'm not saying that this whole show is a 10 out of 10 because of the ending. I'm saying it's a 10 out of 10 and the ending completely trumps everything you've seen until that point. The philosophies that clash in that final battle and the way things are resolved is unparalleled anywhere else in fiction. Every time I rewatch Code Geass, it reignites the flame of my appreciation for this show. Not that I forget what goes on per se. Obviously I don't. I can in fact pretty much recite the entire Code Geass in English dub by heart. Like, I watch it and I talk along with the characters for every line, but I still find myself blown away by the different nuances I see in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 12th viewings. I can't praise this show enough. I love it. It's my second favorite anime of all time. But for now, moving on to my second favorite animated Western TV show of all time. It's Avatar, bro. I do love Avatar. So, I was not on the Avatar hype train as a kid. As much as I talk about people missing out if they didn't watch Pokemon as a kid and stuff, Avatar, believe it or not, is something that I only watched later in life. Wow, I sound like a 60-year-old man. But it was when I was already a cultured media consumer, not someone whose mind was just being shaped. So I didn't know if Avatar would live up to the hype that it kept getting from people that watched it as a kid and grew up with it. It lived up to the hype. Guys, I don't know what I can say. It lived up to the hype. It's crazy. There's something in Avatar, The Last Airbender, that does not exist almost anywhere else in Western TV shows, and it blew my mind. It's 3 words. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to guess what those 3 words are. These 3 words that are uttered in the Avatar TV show are, in fact, the 3 most important words in the entire story. You're probably racking your brains right now so hard that they're becoming liquid and oozing out of your ears. You're like, what? 3 words that can describe exactly why this is a masterpiece, but how? I will tell them to you and you'll be like, oh yes, you are correct. Those 3 words are
previously on Avatar.
That's right. It's literally those words. The fact that Avatar was a long-running story as opposed to an episodic tale completely changed everything. Now, obviously, I'm not putting it here completely based on the fact that it was a cohesive narrative throughout as opposed to just a random overarching plot and then like many individual episodic monster of the week villains that they had to fight. There was so much more to that, but for me personally, that concept was so foreign when it came to Western TV. It already opened my eyes to the potential wonders of the Avatar world, and I was not disappointed in the slightest. Before even talking about the plot or anything else, honestly, the two things that stood out for me most that really makes Avatar a masterpiece are, firstly, the characters. Now, I guess I'm a character-driven guy because I wind up talking about characters a lot, unless I don't. Code Geass isn't character-driven for me. It's about the philosophy and shiz. Avatar? Bro, there are great characters in Avatar. I think Toph and Iroh are both 10 out of 10 fantastic characters. Would smash. Except for Iroh because he's really old, and except for Toph because she's a minor. Aside from those facts, would smash in a not sexual platonic way at all. This is coming from a place of love, but not love with my penis, love with my heart. I'm not getting out of this. I'm just making these words for myself. We're moving on from the metaphor. But the reason why I mention Iroh and Toph, because even though Iroh is my favorite character and Toph is my third favorite character, and they're both great characters, when you look at a character like Zuko and you realize to yourself after really thinking about it, wait a second, this man had the greatest character development in all of fiction. Huh, that's when it dawns on you that Avatar's a masterpiece. Now, obviously, character development can only exist in a show that had those legendary critically acclaimed 3 words.
Previously on Avatar.
That's right. It needed those 3 words in order to get the ability to progress in this way. But the 180, well, 360, or well, to be honest, it's more like maybe a 540 or 720. I don't know, man. Zuko spiraled around like a freaking hamster wheel, but it all was cohesive. It all made sense, and it was also relatable. This man was being ragdolled around by ideals that surrounded him that weren't his own until he finally found his own path. Bro, this man's a legend. And the second thing about Avatar that I found fantastic and masterpiece worthy is the more mystical aspect of the story. Being that it was never in the foreground of the plot, it made it so much more fantastic, adding a completely extra layer of depth to everything. The idea of this mystical realm or this spirit world or all these things in the background, aside from the fact that you're having massive wars, political invasions, character assassinations, lying, manipulating, mistrust, training, pillaging villages, reconnaissance for information, devising ambushes, etc., 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 which was the foreground of the plot and the twists and turns of the story, the added mystical element gave the story a different feel. It made Avatar feel like more than a political war show, and honestly, it affected me on a personal level as well. A powerful theme in Avatar, even though it's pretty much never mentioned, is this idea of self-reflection, and I found that to be incredibly powerful. So, I do believe Avatar is in fact a masterpiece, and it is my second favorite animated TV show of all time. Let's get down to business. Number 2's Mulan. Bro, as a man that stands Kazuma and his search for true gender equality, I would drop kick the living crap out of Mulan, and she would appreciate it. Not because she's a masochist, but because she's a Chad. Now, I'm not gonna come at you from the feminist perspective here. That's not exactly why I like Mulan. Although, to be fair, Mulan does feminism better than every modern feminism movie. Just because that wasn't clearly the narrative it was trying to push, but it was the plot. Amazing how it works that way. Mulan is a story that I could visit again and again and again, and whether I'm laughing at Mushu, I'm laughing at the little dude, laughing at the big fat guy, laughing at the skinny guy, laughing at the dude without a lot of teeth that accidentally got his tent blown up by a cannon, laughing at the funny songs, or there was a lot of laughing watching Mulan. It was actually a pretty epic movie aside from the main point. Overall themes were great. The characterization was great. Honestly, when I was watching Mulan, my heart was feeling like a raging fire. And straight up, not gonna simp. Okay, maybe gonna simp a little bit. That's the best song from any movie ever. Like, there's some really good songs in movies, but none of them are like even in the same league as Make a Man Out of You. Bro, I love this movie so much. It's so heartrending to me that I have to talk about 16 different shows in this short amount of time. I want to gush about Mulan for like at least 30 minutes, as well as many of the other entries on this list, but I kind of have to move fast for the sake of me not dying of old age before this video comes out, and also me not hitting 2 million subscribers before this video comes out, because the milestone there is summoning Satan, and you should definitely subscribe. But anywho, my nostalgia pick for my second place roster is Teen Titans. Fam, I cannot tell you how much I love this show. I am not going to lie to you. This show, to this day, is one of my favorite shows ever. But looking at it from a nostalgia perspective, almost nothing tops it. So, while Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Were completely different in the way I experienced them, with experiencing many different facets of it, like card games, the video games, the more social aspect, Teen Titans was my personal little enjoyment bubble. It is something that I personally loved, that only a few very close friends of mine experienced it with me. It's not as mainstream as something like Pokemon that literally everyone had, and for me, that kind of made it more personal. Looking at Teen Titans, I literally remember every single episode. I've rewatched them countless times. I only later found out that Teen Titans, unlike many of its contemporary superhero stories, is actually heavily anime inspired, which just goes to show why I ended up loving anime as much as I did when I fell in love with it. The episodes had much deeper themes and many more complex things shown than most other Western stories of the time. Like, very seldom do you even have racism as a theme brought up in child-friendly Western media unless it's very heavily pushing an agenda, and Teen Titans wasn't. But there was an episode called Troc, which literally has one of the best depictions of racism in Western fiction. Despite being mostly episodic, the overarching plots definitely did hit pretty hard, and many of the episodes ended with cliffhangers and were very heartfelt. The character dynamics and the love that we started to get for this weird, dysfunctional Titan family became so familial to us, we started picking up on their weird habits and the weird ways they would treat each other. For me, to this day, Raven is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and easily top 10 fictional female characters of all time. With every season honing in on a different character, you get to see many sides of the cast and how the cast reacts to learning things about other members of the cast. And not to mention the fact that aside from the heavy-hitting emotional moments, which was the biggest outlier when it came to Western TV at the time, I mean, let's say juxtaposed to Teen Titans, I watched something like Ben 10 at the time. And while I love Ben 10, it wasn't in the same league as Teen Titans for me. Not on an emotional level, and not on a comedy level. Teen Titans comedy was gold. The villains that were supposed to be menacing, like Slade and Trigon, bruh, I had nightmares about those guys. But the villains that were supposed to be funny, like Control Freak and Mad Mod, are unparalleled as far as comedic villains go anywhere. I still think Teen Titans holds up. I still think it's really good, but looking at it personally and on a nostalgic level, definitely my number 2 nostalgia blast of an animated TV show. And now, well, we've made it all the way to first place. My favorite anime of all time is Gintama. So, Gintama's long, and it's not easy to get into necessarily. There's so many different wacky, zany plots everywhere, and such ridiculous humor sometimes, that it does take a while until you actually get into it. But when you do get into it, and you start really getting into it, you can look back at all the memories you've made with the characters and all the crazy adventures they've been on with nothing more and nothing less than absolute bliss. Gintama's first 50 episodes, a lot of people have a hard time getting through. But on rewatch, they are fantastic to see how the characters we know today grew up and started integrating with one another. Unlike many shows that tries to tackle a multitude of themes, like if you look at Naruto, almost every major-ish character for the arc has their own theme and life lessons that they're trying to teach. And if you look at something like One Piece, every major arc has its own theme. When it comes to Gintama, the themes aren't that varied. It's not like it's always trying to teach you something new. It has several themes that are strung through the entire story, but man, do those hit hard. I don't want to spoil anything when it comes to Gintama, and I imagine most of you watching this video have not seen Gintama, because very few people actually saw it. I've recommended it a ton. A lot of people like it from my recommendations, but a lot of people haven't seen it. It's long, and not a lot of people talk about it, but bruh, the 4 of us Gintama fans, man, you You don't want to mess with us. There's 4 of us, goddammit. We're definitely the force to be reckoned with. Gintoki is my favorite anime character of all time. Just seeing how he sees the world through hundreds of episodes of starting to learn about him and just putting different pieces of the puzzle together. He's this dude with a lazy lifestyle, and he has the most complicated character arc you'll find. Gintama's an actual masterpiece, and I love that it could look at the world through an air of cynicism, sarcasm, and comedy, and immediately switch to that of depth, seriousness, and trauma. I very much embody and appreciate the ideals of not only the characters and the different plot lines that rise when it comes to Gintama. I love just the overarching mindset of the show. The idea of being able to toggle between laughter and tears and sarcasm and cynicism. Watching Gintama definitely honed the person that I am, and I appreciate it very much for doing so. But anyway, my favorite animated TV show of all time, well, kind of went a bit mainstream on this one, I guess, but it's Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty gets hate for a rather rabid fan base, but I don't really care about that because watching the actual quality of the story, you get what you paid for, and you probably didn't pay much. But that's not the point. Dude, the ingenuity, the comedy, the crazy sci-fi, and the philosophy, coupled with Rick as one of the most fantastic characters ever, birthed this masterpiece. You never know what you're expecting going into an episode, and even when you finally think you know what's going on, you don't. Many of the episodes have completely different even structures to other episodes. Some are just parodies of popular movie genres. Others are completely integral to the plot and the overall direction of the story, and some are completely meaningless, but gut punch you so hard, you end up actually thinking to yourself, bruh, what if this is it, guys? What if there's nothing else? Almost every episode of Rick and Morty is coming at you from a philosophical level, and then it's layered with 3 different layers of sarcasm and cynicism that you completely can lose the forest from the trees without sometimes needing to rewatch the episode several times. Even the most hated episode in all of Rick and Morty, being the dragon episode from season 4, had some genuinely fascinating philosophy behind, yes, literal dragon orgies. And I talk about that in a different video where I talk about Rick and Morty more extensively. Dude, Rick and Morty is actually so legendary, it's insane. There's no show I've ever watched where I wait for the upcoming episode as much as this. While it's airing, I am literally on a high knowing that a new episode is going to be showing up on Sunday night. And also, there was Pickle Rick. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. I know it's a dead meme, goddammit, but how can I not mention it as an amazing segue into my favorite movie of all time? Well, favorite animated movie, there it is. My #1. God damn it. Hope you have some bounce in your step. Hope you're getting ready to vibe. Hope the hype is real, because everybody's kung fu fighting. Woo! Yeah! Everybody is fast as lightning. Yes, it's #1, and I find that a little bit frightening. A little bit frightening. Fam, I know that Kung Fu Panda is something that everyone appreciates, but it's not something that everyone will go ahead and say that it's their absolute favorite animated movie of all time. I think that it's a little sus that even I'm saying that. If we were playing Among Us right now, I would vote me off the ship. But I have so much love in my heart for this lovable panda man and his crazy journey to become the Dragon Warrior. That is correct. I am referring to the first Kung Fu Panda movie. I know a lot of people like the second, maybe even more than the first, and the third kind of, well, you know, whenever there's a third movie, it's kind of, yeah, it'd be like that. But anyway, I am definitely referring to the first movie. I think the second movie definitely had its high points, but it's not in the same league as the absolute masterpiece that is the original OG Kung Fu Panda. Aside from the dialogue in Kung Fu Panda being some of my favorite from any movie or TV show I've ever watched, with brilliant lines like, Master Oogway, I have bad news. Oh, Shifu, there is no good news or bad news. There is only news. Okay, Master. Tai Lung escaped from prison. Oh, that is bad news. A line like that is just so good. Not only does it actually teach you the life lesson of not necessarily viewing news as good or bad, the news exists. There is nothing that you can do to change the news. So whether it's good or bad, harboring that extra level of personalization does not help the matter at all. So looking at it, From less of a subjective standpoint and as an objective third party, it's not good news nor bad news. It's only news. Deal with it as it comes. Powerful ass life lesson right there. But when the news really hits home, bruh, when Tai Lung freaking escaped from prison, man, even Master Oogway Senpai Sama's Dono Kun is gonna get hit personally and have to take it from a personal level, not from this objective third perspective and say, oh, that is bad news. Bro, so many of the lines could be read into like this. It's not just this one. The emotions are real. Tai Lung is absolutely one of the greatest antagonists in animation. His fight against Shifu, his fight against Po, the Dragon Scroll being a mirror saying that all you need to do is believe in yourself, the fact that Po, a guy who came from nowhere, can actually make something of himself with hard work, dedication, and believing in himself. This man actually does the unthinkable. He's met by insane skepticism, but this man just pushes forward. And if none of those reasonings actually help you understand why I think it is the greatest movie of our time, and goddammit, do I want to now do an entire video on Kung Fu Panda, holy shit. Let me tell you one thing that will definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, convince you. And that is that Po would slap Goku in a fight. If Po hit Goku with the whooshy finger hold, he would annihilate that bastard. Easy, GG, easy clap, low diff. And honestly, that alone is enough of a reason to say that Kung Fu Panda is the greatest movie of all time. Well, animated at least. Yeah, pretty crazy, I know. Anyway, my most nostalgia blast animation ever is definitely Digimon. I've mentioned many times, a lot of people think I'm kidding when I say, oh, Digimon's the best isekai anime. Yeah, but then Digimon actually is the best isekai anime and everyone's face falls off. So, the seasons I'm mostly referring to are Digimon Adventure 1 and Digimon Tamers, which is Season 3, both of which holding a near and dear place in my heart, and both being straight up some of the best fiction has to offer. The amount of times I teared up watching Digimon as a kid, and still do rewatching it as an adult, is actually insane. Digimon Tamers actually being insanely dark, and Digimon Adventure 1 giving you a closer look at friendship than any of these other big-ass friendship stories ever can. Digimon's a legitimate classic, where I could think back to amazing times like Agumon becoming War Greymon for the first time, hilarious times where the Digimon ended up in the real world instead of the digital world, and they had to adapt to living a normal life with Digimon, terrifying times like Myotismon becoming Venom Myotismon, also known as Metrosexual Vampiremon, and not only threatening to destroy the digital world, but take over the human one as well, and emotionally tragic times like the death of Wizardmon, one of the best written characters of my childhood. And if you want an even bigger shocker, all those things I've just mentioned, yeah, they are all from the same arc. Digimon has many arcs to it, and they were all from Season 1, where I even preferred Season 3 if I were to completely be frank. Thinking back in a nostalgic way with nostalgia goggles on, Digimon's gonna take the big crown as my most nostalgic series ever. And anyway, fam, that wraps up this video. That wraps up this list. Those were my 4 favorite anime, my 4 favorite animated TV shows from the West, my 4 favorite animated movies, and my 4 favorite nostalgic animated stories. I figured this was a cool way to celebrate hitting 1.5 million subs, being that I do have a vast appreciation for animation, and I try to make the milestone specials a little more personal. Thank you again, Genshin Impact, for sponsoring this video. I very much appreciate it, and I highly recommend you check out the game. Link in the description. It's actually great. Like, legitimately, they're only paying me to say the beginning part. They're not paying me to say this part. It is one of the best open world experiences you'll find in a video game, and everyone loves it. Feel free to hit that link in the description. Subscribe if you're new, although I don't know why you'd watch a milestone special if you're new, but if you are new, do it. If you're not subscribed yet, one of those 50% that aren't subscribed to watch my videos, fam, just hit the subscribe button, smash the bell. If you are subscribed without the bell, notification bell would be awesome, extremely awesome. Feel free to check out my second channel, Nuxanor, where I upload memes and gameplays. It's a lot of fun. I've really been vibing there, and I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for coming on this journey with me. It's so nice to be able to make a video that I know I'm not gonna get death threats for, probably. People will find a way, I'm sure. The amount of hate I get is not normal, and I appreciate all of it. Thank you, haters. I even wrote a whole love song to my haters. God damn, I'm a psychopath. But anyway, thanks again for 1.5 million subs. 2 million subs, we're summoning Satan. Smash like. Let me know your favorite from each of those 4 categories I've mentioned in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys pop up with, being that I've watched a lot of animation. And I know I'm gonna get crap for not including different things, but I can only include 4. For all you know, the thing that you thought of is probably like my 5th place or something. But anywho, have yourselves the most wonderful evening. Take care. Thanks again. And remember to stay weird, fam.